Welcome to today's lecture on three fundamental areas of academic library practice: reference services, research support, and liaison work. These three service areas form the backbone of what academic librarians do every single day in colleges and universities around the world. Whether you end up working at a small liberal arts college, a large research university, or a community college, you will likely engage with all three of these areas in some capacity. In this presentation, we are going to explore what each of these service areas entails, how they have evolved in recent years, and why they matter so much to the mission of academic libraries. Let's start by thinking about what academic libraries really are. I want you to move beyond the traditional image of a quiet building full of dusty books, because that is not what we are talking about here. Academic libraries today are vital intellectual hubs within colleges and universities. They support the three core missions of higher education institutions: teaching, learning, and research. These are dynamic, active spaces that have evolved far beyond their historical role as book repositories. Today, they are active partners in scholarship and discovery. The three service areas we are focusing on today are deeply interconnected. They are not separate silos. A liaison librarian, for example, provides both reference services and research support to their assigned departments. Someone doing reference work may identify a need for more in-depth research support. Understanding these overlaps is essential. Each of these areas has evolved significantly in the 21st century. They have adapted to changing user needs, major technological advances, and shifting scholarly communication practices such as open access, data sharing, and new publishing models. Together, these services create a comprehensive support system that helps students, faculty, and researchers navigate an increasingly complex information landscape. All right, let's talk about reference services. And I want to start with this definition from RUSA. That's the Reference and User Services Association, which is a division of the American Library Association. In 2021, they updated their definition of reference, and this is really important. They define reference as providing assistance by using expertise in response to an information need. Now, I want you to notice what this definition emphasizes. First, it emphasizes expertise. Reference isn't just about being helpful or friendly, it's about bringing professional knowledge and skill to every interaction. Second, it emphasizes the responsive nature of reference work. We're responding to user needs in the moment, tailoring our assistance to their specific situation. This is a significant evolution from older conceptions of reference. We're moving beyond that traditional image of a librarian simply finding books for patrons. Today's reference services encompass a continuum that includes both direct assistance and instruction. Now, reference can include instructional elements. You might teach someone how to use a database while helping them, but it differs fundamentally from formal teaching or pre-planned workshops. Instead, reference work responds to immediate information needs through personalized expert guidance that's tailored to each user's specific situation and level of understanding. How many of you have used reference services, either in a public library or an academic library? Think about that experience for a moment. So, what exactly do academic reference librarians do? Let me walk you through the core functions, and as I do, I want you to think about the expertise required for each one. First, research assistance. Academic reference librarians assist students and faculty with complex research projects. This isn't just showing someone where the books are. We're guiding them through sophisticated database navigation, helping them develop effective search strategies to retrieve relevant scholarly information. When a graduate student comes in struggling to find sources for their thesis, or when a faculty member needs help with a literature review, that's research assistance. Second, citation and methodology guidance. Librarians provide expert guidance on proper citation practices across multiple style guides, APA, MLA, Chicago, and many others. We also offer consultation on appropriate research methodologies for different disciplines and project types. A psychology student needs different methodological guidance than a history student, and we understand those differences. Third, resource navigation. Reference staff help users navigate complex library ecosystems. Think about it. A modern academic library might have subscription access to hundreds of databases, multiple catalog systems, extensive reference collections, and specialized resources. We help users figure out where to look for what they need, and we connect them with appropriate services across the organization. And fourth, information literacy. This is about supporting the development of critical information literacy skills. Reference librarians help users become more independent researchers who are capable of evaluating sources and navigating the scholarly information landscape on their own. We're not just answering questions, we're helping people develop the skills to answer their own questions in the future. Notice how all of these functions require significant professional expertise. This isn't clerical work. This is professional practice that requires a master's degree and ongoing professional development. Now we get to what I consider the most critical professional skill in reference work, the reference interview. And this is something you'll practice extensively in your reference courses. Bopp and Smith define the reference interview as the conversation between a member of the library reference staff and a library user for the purpose of clarifying the user's needs and aiding the user in meeting those needs. Now that definition sounds simple, right? It's just a conversation. But this deceptively simple definition masks a complex professional skill that requires practice, reflection, and continuous refinement. And here's a sobering statistic. Research shows that only 55 to 65% of users leave satisfied with reference interactions. That means roughly 1/3 to nearly half of reference interactions don't fully meet user needs. Why is that? Well, there are common challenges. Users often don't articulate their actual needs. They might ask for something very specific when what they really need is something quite different. Librarians sometimes make assumptions about what users want without really listening, and there's often premature closure of the conversation before the true information need is identified. So let's walk through the 5 key components of a successful reference interview. Step 1. Approachability and interest. You need to establish a welcoming presence through positive body language, eye contact, and a friendly greeting. If you're sitting at a reference desk looking down at your computer, you're not approachable. If you're frowning or looking busy, people won't want to interrupt you. Your body language matters. Step 2. Active listening. Pay attention to both verbal and nonverbal cues. Use repetition and paraphrasing to confirm your understanding. You might say, "So what I'm hearing is that you need articles about X for a paper due next week. Is that right?" This confirmation step is crucial. Step 3. Clarifying questions. Ask open-ended questions to establish context and identify the true information need. Instead of asking, "Do you need books or articles?" That's a closed question. Ask, "What kind of assignment is this for?" Or, "What have you tried already?" Open-ended questions give you much more information. Step 4. Search strategy development. Collaborate with the user to construct and refine searches. And here's the key. Explain the process as you work. Don't just perform magic on the computer while they watch. Narrate what you're doing. I'm using the Boolean operator "and" to combine these terms. This is how you build their information literacy skills. And step 5. Follow up. Verify that the user found what they needed and offer additional assistance before concluding the interaction. Ask, "Does this answer your question?" Or, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" Don't just assume you've solved their problem. Mastering the reference interview takes time and practice. You'll get better at it with every interaction, but you need to be reflective about your practice. Think about what worked and what didn't. So, how do academic libraries actually deliver these reference services? Well, it's not just the traditional reference desk anymore. Modern academic libraries use multiple channels to meet users where they are, both literally and figuratively. Face-to-face service includes traditional reference desk consultations that's still valuable for complex questions, but it also includes what we call roving reference, where librarians bring assistance directly to users in study spaces throughout the library. Instead of making students come to you, you go to them. Virtual reference uses chat, email, text messaging, and video conferencing to expand access to expert assistance. This is crucial for students who cannot visit the physical library, whether due to distance, disabilities, or scheduling constraints. During the pandemic, virtual reference became absolutely essential, and many of those services have continued because they work so well. Scheduled consultations are appointment-based research consultations that allow for in-depth exploration of complex research questions. These provide dedicated time, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, for comprehensive search strategy development. This is particularly valuable for graduate students or faculty working on major research projects. And embedded services involve integration into learning management systems like Canvas or Blackboard and into departmental spaces. We bring library expertise directly into the teaching and learning environment where students are already working. A librarian might be embedded in an online course, responding to questions in discussion forums, and providing customized research guides. The key principle here is meeting users where they are. We can't expect everyone to come to a physical reference desk during the hours we decide to staff it. We need to be flexible and accessible. Let's look at where reference services are headed. These are the major trends shaping the field right now, in 2025. First, artificial intelligence integration. AI-powered chatbots, search assistants, and tools like retrieval augmented generation are being implemented to enhance reference services. Now, this doesn't mean AI is replacing librarians. Instead, AI is handling routine questions. What are your hours? Or how do I renew a book? Which frees librarians for the complex consultations that really require human expertise. Second, 24/7 service expectations. Extended digital services support diverse student schedules. Think about it. Many of today's students are working adults, parents, or online learners who may need assistance outside traditional business hours. They might be writing their paper at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night. Libraries are finding ways to provide support at those times. Third, mental health awareness. This is really important. Reference services increasingly support whole student well-being, not just academic needs. Librarians are being trained to recognize signs of distress and to connect students with appropriate campus resources. If a student seems to be struggling with more than just their research question, maybe they're showing signs of anxiety or depression, librarians need to know how to respond appropriately and where to refer them. Fourth, adaptive search technologies. Personalized search interfaces are being developed that adjust to individual user patterns and preferences. These systems learn from past interactions to provide more relevant results and anticipate information needs. It's like how Netflix learns what you like to watch. Library systems are starting to do something similar. And fifth, misinformation combat. There's an increased focus on helping users evaluate sources and navigate the complex information landscape. In an era of widespread misinformation, fake news, and deepfakes, teaching critical thinking skills is more essential than ever. Reference librarians are on the front lines of helping people identify credible information. These trends tell us that reference work is evolving, not disappearing. The core skills remain essential, but we're applying them in new ways. All right, let's move on to our second major topic, research support services. Research support services move beyond traditional collection building and reference to active partnership in the research process. We're not just helping people find information, we're partnering with them throughout their entire research journey. A 2019 study of top-ranking universities found that research support services generally encompass 7 core areas, with adoption rates ranging from 78% to 84% among leading institutions. So these aren't experimental services, they're mainstream expected services at research universities. These services address the full research lifecycle, and I want you to really think about what that means. From initial project conception, through data collection and analysis, through publication, and finally to long-term preservation of research outputs. That's a comprehensive approach. This comprehensive approach responds to the nature of contemporary scholarship, which is increasingly data-intensive, collaborative, and interdisciplinary. Think about it. A biology researcher today might be generating terabytes of genomic data. A historian might be creating a digital humanities project with thousands of digitized documents. A sociologist might be collaborating with colleagues across 3 continents. Research looks very different than it did even 20 years ago. Libraries have positioned themselves as essential partners in helping researchers navigate complex requirements from funding agencies, publishers, and institutions, while also advancing open science principles. Let's look at what these services actually include. Here are the 5 major service areas you'll see in most academic libraries offering research support. I'm going to walk through each one, and I want you to think about how these services require specialized knowledge and skills. First, research data management, often abbreviated as RDM. This has become absolutely essential as funding agencies increasingly require data management plans. If you're applying for an NSF grant, for example, you have to submit a data management plan describing how you'll organize, store, preserve, and share your research data. Libraries provide education on best practices, assistance in writing these plans, repository services for storing data, and guidance on organization, documentation, and preservation strategies throughout the research lifecycle. This is highly specialized work that requires understanding of different data types, metadata standards, and preservation techniques. Second, open access and publishing support. Libraries help with institutional repository contributions. That's where researchers can deposit their publications to make them freely available. We provide education about open access options and mandates. Many funding agencies now require that publications be made openly available. We offer copyright consultation, help manage article processing charges, or APCs, and some libraries even host journal platforms. This work requires knowledge of copyright law, scholarly publishing economics, and open access policies. Third, research impact measurement. This includes citation analysis, metrics consultation, and helping researchers manage their profiles on systems like ORCID and Google Scholar. Libraries provide guidance for creating impact narratives for promotion and tenure decisions. When a faculty member is going up for tenure, they need to demonstrate the impact of their research, and librarians help them articulate that impact using both traditional metrics like citation counts and alternative metrics, or alt metrics like social media mentions and download statistics. Fourth, digital scholarship. This encompasses GIS support. That's Geographic Information Systems, text mining and data visualization training, software and data carpentry workshops, digital humanities consultation, and access to emerging technologies including 3D printing. These services require librarians to develop technical skills that go far beyond traditional librarianship. And fifth, research integrity support. Libraries provide access to plagiarism detection software like Turnitin and Authenticate. We offer intellectual property consultation, education on citation practices, and support for research misconduct prevention. This work helps maintain the integrity of the scholarly record. Notice how diverse these services are. A librarian working in research support needs to be a jack of all trades, or libraries need to build teams with different areas of expertise. Now, let's talk about the technological infrastructure that enables all of this. Information and Communication Technology, ICT, has fundamentally transformed how libraries deliver research support services. Modern academic libraries have developed robust digital infrastructures that enable researchers to collaborate, share, and preserve their work more effectively than ever before. These technology-enabled services extend library support beyond physical spaces and traditional service hours. A researcher can access these services whenever and wherever they work, at 2 a.m. from home or on a Saturday from a coffee shop. Let me give you some specific examples. Digital repositories for research output management and preservation. These might be institutional repositories like DSpace or Fedora, or discipline-specific repositories. Virtual laboratories and collaborative research spaces where research teams can work together online. Cloud-based research data storage and secure sharing platforms. Think about systems that allow researchers to securely store and share sensitive data while maintaining appropriate access controls. AI-powered research discovery and recommendation systems that can suggest relevant articles based on what a researcher is working on. Electronic thesis and dissertation management systems, ETD systems, that handle the entire workflow from submission through preservation, and reference management tool support for platforms like Zotero, Mendeley, and EndNote. The integration of cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and collaborative platforms has made libraries essential partners in managing the increasingly complex technical requirements of contemporary research. If you're interested in the technical side of librarianship, research support services offer tremendous opportunities to work with cutting-edge technologies. Our third major service area is liaison work, and this is where many academic librarians spend the bulk of their time. Liaison librarians, also called subject librarians or academic liaison librarians, serve as the primary connection between the library and specific academic departments, programs, or colleges. This is a multifaceted role that combines collection development, reference services, instruction, and strategic relationship building with faculty and students in assigned disciplines. The liaison model emerged in the 1960s as academic institutions increased library funding and recognized the need for specialized subject expertise. Instead of having generalist librarians trying to serve all disciplines, institutions created positions focused on specific subject areas. So you might have a liaison librarian for biology, another for history, another for business, and so on. Today's liaison librarians work through disciplinary and field-specific lenses to provide personalized support that aligns with the unique research methods, information resources, and scholarly communication patterns of their assigned areas. Think about how different the information landscape is for a chemist versus a sociologist. Chemistry has a well-established set of core databases like SciFinder and PubChem, a fairly standard publication pattern where researchers publish in peer-reviewed journals, and a strong culture of data sharing. Sociology has different databases like Socindex and JSTOR, more diverse publication patterns including books and edited volumes, and different norms around data sharing. A liaison librarian needs to understand these disciplinary differences deeply. This deep disciplinary engagement allows libraries to provide more relevant, sophisticated support than would be possible through generalized services alone. Let's look at what liaison librarians actually do. Liaison librarians typically have four main functional areas. Let me walk through each one, because together they paint a picture of what this role really involves. First, outreach and engagement. This is about building strong relationships with faculty, students, and staff. It includes regular communication with department chairs and faculty, attendance at departmental meetings and events, maintaining awareness of research interests and curricular changes, and strategic promotion of library services. Liaison librarians identify collaboration opportunities and serve as the face of the library within their assigned disciplines. Think about what this means practically. A liaison librarian might attend monthly department meetings to hear about new courses being developed or new research projects starting up. They might send regular email updates to faculty about new resources or services. They might host coffee hours or office hours in the department itself. The goal is visibility and relationship building. Second, teaching and instruction. This has become a primary focus of liaison work. Liaison librarians design and deliver discipline-specific information literacy instruction. They create graded and ungraded research assignments in collaboration with faculty. They develop online tutorials and learning objects. They embed in courses through learning management systems, assess student learning outcomes, and may maintain departmental office hours. So, a liaison librarian might team teach a research methods course with a faculty member, or might give a guest lecture in a senior seminar on how to do a literature review. They might create a customized tutorial on using historical databases for a history class. This teaching component requires pedagogical knowledge and instructional design skills in addition to subject expertise. Third, research services. Liaison librarians provide customized reference consultations, advanced database searching, literature review support, citation management instruction, systematic review assistance, identification of funding opportunities, grant-related research support, and scholarly communication guidance, all tailored to disciplinary norms and practices. This is where that deep subject knowledge really comes into play. A biology liaison needs to know about systematic review methodologies used in the life sciences. A business liaison needs to understand market research databases. A music liaison needs to know about specialized music databases and scores collections. And fourth, collections management. Liaison librarians develop and manage both physical and electronic collections. They select materials based on curricular and research needs, manage subject-specific database and journal subscriptions, communicate with faculty about budgets, weed outdated materials, evaluate usage patterns, and create subject guides. These are often called LibGuides. This traditional collection development role has evolved significantly. It's not just about buying books anymore. Liaison librarians make complex decisions about database subscriptions that might cost tens of thousands of dollars. They need to understand usage statistics and return on investment. They need to balance competing demands with limited budgets. Notice how these four areas integrate all of the skills we've been discussing: reference work, research support, teaching, and more. The liaison role is really a synthesis of everything an academic librarian does. Let's wrap up by talking about how liaison work is continuing to evolve. Look at this diagram showing the progression of the liaison role. The liaison role continues to evolve rapidly in response to changing user needs, technological capabilities, and institutional priorities. Today's liaison librarians have moved beyond traditional reference desk service to more proactive embedded models of support. Many liaison librarians now participate as co-investigators on research projects and grant proposals. Think about what that means. A librarian isn't just supporting research, they're actually part of the research team, listed on the grant proposal, contributing to the project design. This demonstrates the value that libraries bring to scholarship in a very concrete way. Looking ahead, the future of liaison librarianship lies in expanded expertise across multiple domains. Liaison librarians are increasingly developing skills in digital scholarship, including data visualization, text mining, and computational methods. They're leading scholarly communication initiatives, advocating for open access and alternative publishing models. Some liaison librarians are combining subject liaison work with functional specialization, creating hybrid roles. So you might see a position titled Digital Humanities Librarian, who serves as the liaison to English, history, and philosophy, while also providing digital humanities expertise across the entire institution. Or a Data Services Librarian, who serves as liaison to the social sciences while also providing data management support campus-wide. These hybrid roles bridge traditional boundaries and position libraries as essential partners in 21st century higher education. Now, what does it take to be successful in liaison work? Let's look at the essential competencies. Deep subject knowledge and understanding of disciplinary research methods. You need to really understand your discipline. Excellent communication and interpersonal skills for engaging diverse stakeholders. You're constantly working with faculty, students, staff, and other librarians. Pedagogical knowledge and instructional design expertise. You need to know how people learn and how to design effective instruction. Technical proficiency with databases and emerging technologies. The technology landscape keeps changing and you need to keep up. Project management and coordination abilities. You're juggling multiple projects and priorities simultaneously. And assessment skills to evaluate services and demonstrate impact. You need to be able to show that what you're doing matters. This is a complex, challenging, but incredibly rewarding role.